Okay. I don't have that up for some reason. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Let's count it in. Let's get up to where I have your reads in 3, 2, 1.
Tell us where to find the Belisarius memorandum, and we shall disappear like a nightmare before the breaking day.
Bingo.
This is Film Sack. Oh, sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Film Sack. This is Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind, episode 669. My name is Scott Johnson. Joined today by Brian. He has a secret, fully automatic weapon in his artificial leg Dunaway.
Don't look. It's sweaty down there. Oh, hi. This week on Film Sack, we get Darkman when our potential future fiancé gets us involved in some day job for the mob shenanigans she brings home from work. And now we have to live alone with a cat in an abandoned warehouse after getting blown literally sky high and spending our days trying to figure out a way to grow flesh that doesn't melt in the light to drape over our well-done barbecue rib face and hands. In this 1990 dark superhero thriller, who is feeling nothing after the burn and screaming about it for the rest of his life on Amazon Prime. Cameo Bruce! Anywho, let's see. Did some reconnaissance? Check. Practice my LA Law messenger guy impressions? Deep cut? Check. Rewrap my burn victim bandages in the craziest manner possible? Check. Did a musical number about going crazy? Check. Fed the cat so you'll stop chewing on my barbecue for a hands? Check, check. And now, time to check in on my perfectly symmetrical face rendered done in quadrants and plan for my new life as a nighttime model. Oh, goody. Only 569 hours left. Brian Ibbett knows what I'm talking about. Randy, I was in the hospital in a coma. Hold me. I can't feel it, but hold me. Pink elephant.
Can't feel you hold me.
Hold me.
Very nice. Also with us, Randy. I think this movie invented 3D printing noses, Jordan.
No?
Aloha, Scott. Brian, thank you for coming to this cop meeting. It's been at least 3 weeks since we had, a cop meeting, but let's face it, we're always cops. So, who do we have this week? Let's see. We've beaten back the RoboCop villains. We've beaten back Lex Luthor. Guys, I think we need to accept that the ultimate villains in a capitalist democracy are always going to be real estate developers. This particular real estate developer is interesting. I mean, he's super rich. He's bought us off with bribes, that he writes memos about and then doesn't shred the memos. Idiot. Anyway, we're the cops. So we're working for the idiot, and we need to capture his enemy so that we can get this month's bribe. Don't worry. We're going to capture this guy as long as you ask my 3 questions. Number 1. He might be the Wolfman. So I'm hearing that he only comes out at night, the lean and hungry type. Okay, number 2. He might be the Invisible Man. We have a witness saying that our anti-realtor vigilante was wearing bandages, on his face.
Yeah.
But it may have only been a nose covering, so he doesn't have to smell the rest of Detroit. Number three. He might be the Shadow. Our eyewitnesses said he's wearing a wide-brimmed cowboy hat. That screams Shadow to me. But the eyewitnesses also said it might be a fedora. Is this guy Indiana Jones? Because if so, let's just move to Miami.
Yeah. I say let's go.
Yummy.
Nicely done, per always.
Also, Randy, it's a memorandum, not a memo.
Memo.
Memorandum.
Only the bad guys called it memorandum. Everybody else called it a memo.
They couldn't shut up about that freaking memorandum.
Okay.
Anyway, with us finally, we have Brian. Give him the pink elephant already, Ibbett.
Wow, the big pink plushy elephant. Interesting choice. All right, well, I mentioned this in pre-show, but I'm in the process of moving my applications, GarageBand, all my recording stuff, my audio mixing stuff over to a new computer, and so I haven't had a whole lot of time to record. So I brought in another special guest start.
Wow, that's our show.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, you spoke to me so much.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well done, as always. I knew you did a decent Ziggy Stardust voice, like a decent David
Yeah,
Bowie, but
yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that good. That was a little
I'm
weird.
tired of putting all my effort into my intros and then just having Ibbot come in here and do something great. I'm just gonna. It's
Oh,
just
stop
easier
it.
just to let's have it. We're just gonna have Ibbot do the intros from now on.
Yep.
I'm just gonna sit around and
Yep, 3
eat chips
songs
or whatever it
but
is.
I'll save you a bunch of time.
But like
will.
9.5 minutes of music. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Right. It'll be a medley next time. It'll be
Perfect.
all right.
It's
Here's
just
my
like
Taylor Swift tortured Darkman department.
Perfect.
medley.
It's just like at every other job. And when you're good at it, everybody just lets you do it. Just
That's
like,
right.
Here you go.
That's right. You just take
Your
it
turn.
over. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the film Darkman, which probably was made obvious to you in those lyrics. That's what we watched.
Darkman?
And I'm going to let this fake Fletcher explain.
Darkman, a brilliant scientist left for dead, returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. See if you can spot the Danny Elfman soundtrack.
Ah,
He's moving back to Italian, which is good.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's losing the Pan Atlantic.
It's a little bit more like his origin story as Mario, but
Right.
you know, never know week to week how that guy's going to go. We're talking about the Sam Raimi 1990 film Darkman with Frances McDormand, Liam Neeson, and a bunch of other people. And you know, okay, when I saw this movie back in 1990, and then later on VHS, and then later still on DVD, I thought to
Right.
myself, man, is it get any better than this? This guy's great. Give him another superhero movie, which they did. They gave him Spider-Man not long after, well, like about 10 years after this. 9 years. But anyway, point is, I was like, yeah, dude, freaking Sam Raimi, he's the stuff. He knows what he's doing. And then by then the Western had come out, which we'd also done, Quick and the Dead. And I remember thinking, oh, Sam Raimi, do all Westerns. Never let anyone else do a Western. You should do all the Westerns. Now, all this time later, I think I still like Darkman. But I
Yes.
don't think Darkman is nearly as good as I think Darkman is. And I say this with a shield around me because I know people are going to be pissed. There are people that think this movie is the GOAT. Like,
hold on. But can't it just be that somehow over the last 20 plus years, 30 years, it's become an acquired taste? Is that possible for something to be kind of like new and exciting at the time, but then it turns into an acquired taste?
a little bit
This-
for me.
This movie experienced something very rare. We had a shift in how we watch superhero movies because the previous year we got Batman. And you could say, no, this was just taking a rip off Batman, but this was being developed while Batman was being released.
Mhm.
So Tim Burton kind of opened us all up to this new type of superhero language. And then when Darkman came along, it benefited from it. And so I think back then, I think it was spot on. And over the years, it's just kind of like the Tim Burton Batman, you either kind of like it or you kind of don't.
Yeah.
Or maybe it hits,
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I don't like it. I think I do like it. I just think that
Yeah.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe there, in some ways, this broke some ground. And the reason it feels like The Shadow and feels like that kind of stuff is because he was trying to get the rights to do that and they wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
So they had to make it up.
Yeah. It
Right.
was an homage to the Universal Picture movies, which Randy alluded to in his intro.
Mhm.
Batman was influenced by The Shadow, so of course we have something here that feels
some
kind of Batman.
connective tissue. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think he more than he did with Spider-Man, he really tries to emulate that noir style of 1940s, 50s detective comics for lowercase d detective comics.
Yeah, like the Spirit and Dick Tracy. And,
Yes,
and
exactly.
that sort of thing. And the thing about it is, though, I think it does a decent job of doing that, but it also has his frenetic style attached to it. So you have these crazy zooms and insane angles and violence in a almost comedic way, and Bruce Campbell at the end. Like, you have all these things that Sam Raimi does.
Right.
And I think if somebody said to me, "Hey, is it as great as I remember?" I think I would say, I think it holds up okay, but it's got some seams.
I think it's everything you remember, whether you thought it was great then probably affects whether or not you think it's great now. I thought it was great then, and I still really, really enjoy it. I had a great time with it. And it is because it's somewhat timeless, right? it doesn't feel like it's in the 90s. It doesn't feel like it's in the 80s, 70s, anything like that. It doesn't feel like it's in a specific time. And that kind of helps. It doesn't seem to rely on any existing facial 3D printing technology.
The technology could be, they didn't focus in on the technology too much. It was there,
right? Thank goodness.
And it was kind of a prop, but it was more like, because he was doing this homage to the the Universal monsters, and it was very Frankenstein. Right. So it was just kind of like, even the warehouse was like, oh, if you've ever watched the original Frankenstein movie, you're like, oh wow, looks similar to that. The shots they're doing look similar to that. So it's very much timeless. And I had a good time. It's been probably 10 years since I've watched Darkman.
Yeah.
And I stepped right back into it, and
it's a fun watch. It's a fun watch. It just feels like such a transition period for him when he's about to do this Western that feels very different. And
it's such a style. This movie is such a style that I actually found myself going, oh, it doesn't matter if I've ever seen this before. I saw it a long time ago when it was fairly new and forgot everything about it. But it doesn't matter if you've seen it before. The question is, have you seen and liked Sam Raimi movies before?
Yeah.
Like any of them. Like just
Right.
pick one,
Sure.
and if you've seen and liked it, you're going to be able to find your common ground with this movie. The visual language of Sam Raimi is so intense here.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like, if you've seen him and don't like him, or you just don't like this kind of schlock in general, you're going to have a bad time, because every freaking shot in this movie is drawn like a comic book and then moves really, really fast. And like, it's just a thing that's, you got to sit back and just smile at how crazy this movie is constructed. You know, like,
how many nervous breakdowns happened during the making and production of this film?
Were there a lot?
Specifically during the post-production. In the a couple years ago, we made it 30 years for Darkman, came out in 1990.
Yeah.
And they had a kind of reunion of sorts on several interviews. And Sam Raimi did not want to touch it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. That was some BS. This thing went through like, I think it went through 12 edits. First of all, I don't know if it went through 12. Actually, I think I'm mixing those up with the story. The story was laid out by several different writers, and then eventually, when it got into the editing process, it also ran into the problems because it wasn't testing well with audiences.
Well, they hired their buddies, the Coen brothers, to do a rewrite at the end. And
according to the trivia, the Coen brothers were first.
They were first. They laid out the structure.
They're the ones who outlined it, and they didn't end up getting credited because they didn't actually provide any.
And it's
detail.
Sam Raimi and Frances McDormand was all living all in the same, or shacking up. They're all in the same place. Matter of fact, Frances McDormand was dating a Coen, or was she engaged? Was she married?
They're married
to a Coen.
Got married?
Yeah, they're married now. I don't know if they were then, but
right. So but anyway, the I'm surprised that even turned out as well as it did when I went back and read about all the different edits.
No
and actually,
kidding.
there was
how many different hands had to touch it? Yeah,
so many. And by the time they got done with it, Sam Raimi's like, he's shooting birds flying out the door. Nah, screw all you guys.
Yeah.
And
wearing tissue boxes for shoes. Is that kind of where you're going? Like,
I think the manicness of it though pays off. Like, that part is what holds up, and maybe that's the throw it at the wall spaghetti that he was facing after these rewrites and just feeling overwhelmed by it. I don't know. Whatever caused that, I actually think holds up. It's just that it's 1990 and things look a little bit like 1990, and the guy at the beginning, the very first word out of his mouth is asshole for some reason, and he
that was so much. That was actually, I remember most of it, but I completely forgot about that scene. I don't know if it's because it just, the establishing of what's going on is just so fast, and you just kind of missed all of it. But I kind of love that.
I was so happy when
Eddie Black,
he gestures at his fake leg, and I realized, oh my gosh, that's about to become something.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that part. But was it Jesse Lawrence Ferguson? I think he played Eddie Black, and he's just, it's essentially is the union dot workers versus the mob, and who's going to control this city, and it's kind of brushed past it, and I enjoyed that opening scene though.
But you get his brother Ted Raimi in there again, being a total psychopath.
Yeah,
freaking love that. I love him in his movies. When he shows up, I'm like, yep, everything got better because Ted's here. Can't even
Yeah.
explain why. Ted's not even that good of an actor.
Checking in on his brother.
Yeah,
Larry Drake, though, I forgot
he ate up the scenery, dude. He was
just
great.
how
Yeah.
amazing he was here. You know, I remember him watching him on L.A. Law. He was the mentally disabled messenger, so
Yeah.
he was always always
Benny.
fun. And seeing him in this, and then seeing him in this,
Right.
man, he's just such a heavy. You're like, wow.
Yeah, I
Robert
remember at the
Grant.
time going, "Oh my gosh, is this the same guy from LA Law?" Like I couldn't quite believe
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Larry Drake first comes on the screen in this viewing, because we had been talking about Jeffrey Jones the other day, for some reason in my brain that was Jeffrey Jones, and I was like, "Oh no!"
No.
And then I realized, no, this is a different guy. This is a different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ibbott
This
does
guy
it.
didn't do anything horrible to other people.
Yeah, and
It's-
if it was doing, where'd you confuse him? Oh, the other guy
It's
that looks
the
just
guy
like him.
Principal
From,
from Ferris Bueller.
No,
Yeah,
not.
You're comparing to Drake or to Jeffrey Jones. I get this guy
Beetlejuice.
confused with Frost Nixon, dude.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Frank Langella. There it is.
Frank Langella. Yeah.
Who apparently is also a
Interesting.
pain on the set. I don't know if it's.
Is
quite
it really?
I don't know if it's Jeffrey Jones level, but it's something like that.
It was kind of interesting that I saw back in the day. I saw Batman first, Tim Burton, and then I rolled into Darkman. Thought that was amazing. Then this past week we watched Beetlejuice, and then I rolled into Darkman. So I was kind of already primed for that kind of wild ride and stylized movie making. And so
You were
it
Amazon
kinda
Prime.
worked to win.
That's where you watched it. Amazon Prime.
That's
over
right.
There. That's how primed you were.
that's how primed. I was pumped in prime.
There's a little.
What did you guys think about what do you guys think about the Larry Drake innuendo that he was dating one of his henchmen?
Oh,
like-
I forgot they did
he
that.
disappeared
really?
and he got all
Oh,
mad
yeah.
and jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was
the first I've heard
pretty-
about that. That's kind of funny.
That was
Yeah.
it was pretty. It was played pretty
Blatant?
straight. Like
Yeah.
like you saw what could be tendrils of a intimate relationship between
Right.
those two.
Yeah.
And
it was
an
on the
abusive
screen.
relationship, probably.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
doing it in a very 1990s way, where
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like we're not really doing kind of a bad job of sort of handling this kind of 90s way, but
It was
But
interesting how they did that, and then Liam Neeson's Asian mathematician sidekick who was helping him.
Yes.
Yakito, or wherever his name was. But I loved it. Made me laugh so much when they came in, and the bad guys, Larry Drake and all those guys, were coming into the lab and kicking stuff over, and their Asian sidekick. For just a second, he started doing just a couple of martial arts moves, and then they apprehended.
they
him.
subdued him.
And I was
Couldn't quite get the
Yeah,
karate
yeah.
off. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I was like, "Is this the Green Hornet?"
yeah.
Give
It
me
felt
some,
there was
Bruce
there was a
Lee.
little Green Hornet in there. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I got
Little
some.
bit,
I
yeah.
got scrutiny about one point of all this. So here, let me play the thing.
Scrutiny.
Although his status as a star of the genre would solidify much later in his career, this was Liam Neeson's first starring role in an action film. I don't think that's true. I think
First starring role, right?
Well, starring. What does that mean? Top billing,
First,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
name on
He's
the
the
marquee.
star.
right?
He's the star.
So is Larry Drake not? He doesn't star in this. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out what the level is. We would say this
when
is
you're the bad guy, you don't star, right? I mean, unless
okay. So you're the lead. That's the idea.
Like
I
in the
guess
fall,
that would
like
be
in would you say in the Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling is the star, or would you say Emily Blunt is the star?
I would
Yes.
say they are
I would say
I'd say they're
Co-starring roles?
co-stars. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
co-starring roles,
I think
yeah.
that can definitely happen. But in this case, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think you're right, Liam Neeson. I still have the question. I swear, there's got to be something prior to this where he is more than that. And this is pre Schindler's List. This is pre a lot of things. Certainly pre Taken.
Right.
But what was the
taken.
one? The sword one. Shit, we did it here. Excalibur.
Oh, he was Excalibur, right? He was.
But
Yeah,
that was
we-
a small role, I guess, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, not
We've sacked
starring.
him so many times, and three of them precede this. No, two of them preceded this.
What are they-
Excalibur
Oh, really?
and Krull. He was in Krull.
Oh,
Was he
Kroll.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the proper definition of starring role, but when I think, without looking anything up, when I think of starring role, I think of the individuals whose name attracts people to the theater.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of doing it.
Maybe not correct,
So-
but it's what I think.
That's a
of.
fair way of doing it. The
So
problem
look
is
at-
you have like Ocean's 11 and everyone's a star. But
Yeah,
Everyone's
everybody's a
starring
star.
role.
There's their own
So
star. That's fine.
Here's the
Yeah.
interesting thing. So the way Wikipedia phrases it, he starred with Cher and Dennis Quaid in Suspect, which brought him critical acclaim. In 1988, he starred with Clint Eastwood in the film, in the fifth Dirty Harry film, The Deadpool,
Yeah.
as Peter Swan, a horror film director. In 1990, he had a starring role in Sam Raimi's Darkman. So they talked about him starring.
yeah, see, they
with
seem
Clint
confused.
Eastwood and with Cher.
They're as confused as I am about what star means.
Yeah,
About starring, not starring,
Yeah, because I don't really.
he's a
I've never known.
star.
Yeah.
For me, it sounds like that you're a star in a movie if you were offered the role and you didn't have to audition for it.
Maybe.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
distinction,
interesting.
yeah.
So that's probably that would make him not a star in most of those because I'm sure he had to audition for like Excalibur and Kroll.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody's.
I would even guess you'd have to audition for Darkman because is there it might be scrutiny, but I'm sure there's like other people who are considered for the role in trivia, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I can tell you
so
right
many.
now. I wrote one
Many
down.
people. I like.
Yeah, Bill Paxton's the one I read. That'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
I like his girlfriend's trivia about who they were going to get to play Julie Hastings in the character. They had talked about bringing in Pretty Woman. Had previously dated
Julia
Liam
Roberts?
Neeson. So
Wait, Liam
Julia
Neeson and her dated? I didn't know that. That's cool.
apparently so, and apparently it was effective enough that they got very emotional during some of the casting sessions, and they were
Wow.
she politely declined to come back. Yeah,
She says now
They're
they're
going to take you for Pretty Woman.
I
now you're
didn't
going to be
like-
hired for a movie about a hooker.
I
Sorry, go
didn't
ahead.
like knowing that Frances McDormand was the director's best friend's wife.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
bugged me because
Yeah.
like I was questioning the relationship between Julie and Peyton.
Mm.
I don't know, it was being portrayed strange, and everything in the movie is portrayed strange, so that's not the problem, but it's just like, why is this movie showing me a relationship where two people are kind of in love, but he's clearly more into it than she is, and then she's
Right.
turning him down, and I'm just like, ooh, you're a loser.
Well,
I'm
and
like,
also that
wait, did
that's
the
where
movie want me to think of him like
but
that?
in the end, he got to say, "I've changed. Suck it.
Yeah.
I'm Darkman."
I think you're
Yeah,
I think you're Duke Nukem there for a second.
All right.
Well, he started getting more raspy. I actually appreciated the consistency of Liam Neeson continuing, to have his voice box kind of was all smoky. And
Yeah,
trashy.
but it is interesting though how after the accident he approaches Julie and is like, "Mom, it's me." Right, but then his voice box apparently heals pretty well over the course of the next half an hour of
maybe,
film time.
maybe he had a lozenge take care
That's
of some
all.
And also,
Sure.
that was no accident. That was a straight up ripoff of Batman. And I'm like, man, the movie sounds like Batman. Do we have to also have Batman plot points?
Mm.
You know?
Right. Like I said, I at first was concerned. I was like, I remember thinking whenever I saw this back in the day that this is just a Batman ripoff. Then I looked at the release of Batman. They're not in the same studio. Maybe they had some information about the other movie, but how much? So how much could it really influence this movie if they were doing principal photography, like right in the middle of the Batman movie? Did anybody stop and go, go see Batman and steal some stuff?
I mean, I don't.
No.
I think that
Right.
this is just what hero movies felt like then. I don't think there's any connective tissue other than he called his.
It's interesting that two different directors with kind of unique styles visually kind of went down parallel paths during a similar time.
Yeah, I would say it's very similar,
wild.
and the fact that Danny Elfman is their go-to
Danny
for
Elfman.
music, yeah,
Works for
ties
both
it
of them,
together.
yeah.
Oh, it's just flat out sounds like the leftovers from Batman. The whole movie, every
actually-
song that you hear.
It just sounds like Elfman
I
to
actually
me.
thought it was
everything
I thought it
Elfman
sounded more
does.
like, yeah.
Because I saw Beetlejuice like the rest of you last week, or two of you anyway, and it was great. But I really felt like that soundtrack was the most not phoned in, but it's just like, oh, that's Danny Elfman. Of course it is.
It pretty much is. It's Danny Elfman and his great work on repeat or on formula.
Yeah. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. And nothing wrong with that. Like I love him. But
Nothing at all wrong with that. It always does feel. It feels like the Elfman, but there's like, oh, okay, he does bring something interesting. There's a great 2-volume soundtrack of all of his work called "Music from a Darkened Theater."
Oh, nice.
And you can just listen right straight through with everything from Batman, all the Pee-wee stuff, some of the more straight ahead things like what he did for Midnight Run with Charles Grodin.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Yeah. And you kind of feel like, yeah, there's not really a oh, he really went out of left field on this one, or he really went kind of crazy on this one.
Right.
There's some that are more tame than others. The more, like I said, Midnight Run is probably the most could have been anyone if they were influenced by Danny Elfman instead of it being Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, that song that he used for Midnight Run, he put lyrics to, and it was an Oingo Boingo song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wild.
There's two scores where I think Danny Elfman really punched above his weight class. One is Big Fish, and the other is Milk, and it's because of the fact that everything else I feel like is like all in the same vein. Like this movie, the entire movie, I was thinking, oh wow, you could take this music and just feather it right into the Batman soundtrack. Like if you went from a Batman song to this song to a Batman song, you would never know.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember a lot of Batman's Danny Elfman. All I remember is Prince. I know
really?
I
Come
can
on,
tell you the theme
absolutely
song.
remember the
Yes, I can tell you the theme song, but that doesn't necessarily sound like Danny Elfman.
Really?
That
To
sounds
me,
more
I think
classical.
I think Danny Elfman every time I hear it.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought Danny Elfman when I first started hearing this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, this
Just
thing
right
is,
away.
This thing's dripping
Yeah.
with his
It's
vibe.
dripping with it.
Having
Yeah, I
just
dig it.
I think having just seen the Beetlejuice sequel, it's easy to keep hearing it. Like I just hear it all the
Yeah.
time now.
Now,
Yeah.
Danny Elfman had talked about in the 30th year interview where they were talking to him. He said that he was in pretty big demand at that point, specifically probably because of the Batman thing. But he said that he had a short list of directors he was wanting to work with, and Sam Raimi was one. He said if he calls, just tell him, yeah, it doesn't matter what project.
Oh wow.
And so he still remembers it very fondly. Once again, Sam Raimi, every time somebody brings up Darkman, nah, not interested.
Yeah.
Don't
Which
want
is-
to talk about it.
But Sam Raimi must just be a hoot or something.
He's a
Right.
hoot.
Everything
He's
you ever
listen, you're a real
read where
hoot.
someone is like, I just was excited to have dinner with Danny Elfman. Like whatever it is, they love this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like even okay. So the biggest disruption on the set apparently was Francis McDormand and him disagreeing a lot, and that's funny because they're friends. They're like family friends. They hang out. And they still do to this day. Them and the Coens are all pals. But she just had issues with how her character is being portrayed, and I do too. To be honest, I don't think
They were living.
Yeah,
They were living together, and up until this point, according to the 30-year interviews and stuff, she was stage actor. So she was trying to. Now you wouldn't even think about it. You're like, oh yeah, she's a great movie actress. But at that point in time, it was different. She
yeah, a
was
little
more of a
bit.
stage
We knew
actress.
her from Blood Simple and some other
Martin
stuff.
Fink and
Yeah, she was a few years now away from. Wait, Barton Fink came after 90, didn't it? Or 89? Whatever that was. But she's what 6 years away from Fargo, and kind of after that, it was, everybody knows who she is after that. Once you're Margie and you've eaten his eggs in the morning, you're you're nobody else for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I did like one more thing about the Danny Elfman thing. I think if I remember the story correctly from the interview, and I think this is on Hollywood Reporter or something. I'll post a link to it. But they talk about his first day that he arrived. Sam Raimi was right in the middle of doing some a shot that had to deal with rain and stuff, and they were throwing water on Liam Neeson. And Danny Elfman comes in, and Sam Raimi just he's used to using everybody to full effect, and so he just hands a bucket to Danny Elfman, and he next thing he knows he's doing full doing work,
Really?
throwing buckets of water. I'm here to do music. What am I doing?
Here, help out. Dump water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Francis McDormand might have pooped in that bucket, but don't worry about that. It's for a future role down the
Yeah,
line.
it's for an Oscar turn in her life. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
She's
So good,
preparing
so
all this
good.
time later. But yeah, like the sense that I got was that some of that felt uneven and a little bit weird, and it's still okay all this time later. I'm totally fine with it.
I am shocked at usually when you hear a movie that went through this many rewrites and this much bad audience reviews and test reviews and this many edits, it typically is a failure. But I would have never have guessed that from watching the film, because And the final edit actually was they sneaked it in because they had the producers had some different people come in and do the edits, and then a couple other crew members went in and did a final edit beyond that because they felt like they deleted some scenes they really liked and they put it back in. And they did it so late in the game, and then they turned it in, and it was too late.
Wow.
That was the print that was going out, and they were pissed. The studio execs were pissed.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Really.
People are probably
They handed
like,
over something.
yeah,
Mhm.
you want it to match whatever your creative vision is. But I didn't know the bit about him not wanting to talk about it now. That surprises me. Like,
Right.
Sam
And maybe
Raimi's
that's
just
changed.
not-
It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
big 4 years for. I guess he did Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness during that time. So maybe he's had a
Right.
change of heart. He's gone back to the hero pool. He's he sealed what's his name's face and stretched out the guy from The Office. He's feeling good. He's feeling chipper. Those are my favorite
Oh,
bits in
that
that
hurts.
movie. Oh, it totally hurts, dude. What he did to those
Oh.
people, or what she did, not he, but
Yeah. That was so good. That
freaking
was so good.
Scarlet Witch is big trouble. Anyway, it says here, director Sam Raimi originally wanted Bruce Campbell to play the lead role, but producers were uncertain that Campbell could handle the part. Campbell made a small cameo at the end instead.
What? I don't.
I feel like he
I
could
don't
say this every
understand that
time.
trivia.
Every time
He could
Raimi makes a
definitely handle
movie,
the part.
it feels like he says this every time he makes a movie, or someone says
Yeah.
it. It's like, oh, he almost made Doctor Strange into Bruce Campbell. It's like, come on, dude.
I don't think that the money people don't have the faith in what he can bring to a role, but I think Sam Raimi absolutely thinks that Bruce Campbell can do anything, and in my opinion, he can. I'm a big
love
Bruce
him.
Campbell fan.
Yeah, I'm same with you.
Yeah.
Me.
I watched Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, we did together. We watched that.
We did, yeah.
I like that movie a lot. He's one of
Yeah.
my favorite follows on any kind of social media. I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
They should get.
It was a.
Yeah.
It was a true cameo, like a blink and you miss it moment for Bruce Campbell. But we have seen him now 9 times.
Yeah.
apparently.
Is it mostly
on film
cameos
sec.
or what? What are we getting him other than
I mean,
Bubba Hotep?
some of them, yeah. But like he was in Congo. He was in Escape from L.A. We saw him in, he was in Spider-Man 3. That was a cameo, right?
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Did we do 3?
Spider-Man 3. Yeah,
we must have
second.
done 3. We had to have, right? Didn't we?
Feels
Did
like it.
we? I didn't think we did.
What's the one where
I
he,
promise
that's
you
the
we
one where he
sacked Spider-Man 3.
Did we?
dances.
Okay, well, I believe you because I'm sure you're looking at a list, but
Yeah, it doesn't sound right to me either. I don't know why. What do you think they could do something now? Like maybe that's do a smaller, less crazy movie. Get Bruce Campbell. He's old now and kind of cool in his older age, and make that movie now. Let's get that going. Why not? I would pay money to go buy popcorn, get a drink, and watch Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell yuck it up for 2 hours.
Yeah. I would like to see Larry Drake play more of Liam Neeson, pretending he's wearing a Larry Drake suit, hanging out with Arsenio Sonny Trinidad, who is who's down in Chinatown, I suppose. Hung Fat is the character's
Oh,
name.
that
I
guy's
love
that guy's
name.
great.
Hung Fat.
Yeah.
By the way, he also played Wu in The Shadow Connective Tissue. We've seen that one as well.
Yeah.
But that whole scene of him, discussing about how he's not going to give him the money. I don't have the money, and then Larry Drake sitting there and burning his hand and just looking weird and stuff.
love
And
that.
okay, I'll get you the money.
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus, Robert.
I love it when a trope comes full circle, like Chekhov's diagnosis or something.
Yeah,
right,
Because we're told very clearly, this is spoken very clearly that he's not going to feel pain. Look, we'll stick a needle in him. Right? What kind of medical practitioner are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
But,
Right,
Like,
yeah.
why did it come full circle?
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the part where he's in the body of Drake, like you were talking about,
Body
Dunaway,
of Drake.
reminded me of now I forgot his name. Played the Kingpin. Anyway,
Vincent D'Onofrio.
yeah, in Men in Black when he,
In Men in Black,
Yeah.
yes.
which is maybe that's like the all-time
wearing
greatest version of
That's
that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing a whatever suit. Yeah.
Right, wearing a Vincent D'Onofrio suit.
I don't think anybody's quite done that as well as he did that, but
Yeah.
Right.
But man, like Drake himself, is he still around? Is he? I don't know what happened to this actor.
Oh, he died.
Did he
about
pass?
8 years ago.
Okay. Dang, that's a bummer. We just saw him though in. Oh no, it's me and Nibbit were watching we did a couch party for Serenity, and he was in an episode of that. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's right. Yes, he was. He has a killer line in a big fancy ball.
Yeah, he's got a
big fancy ball,
he's
baby.
a fancy boy.
Fancy ball.
Got fancy things to do.
Where did we recently see John? This is the second time I've seen John Landis in the last month on Film Sack where he does a cameo. He's one of the doctors.
Oh,
he's
really?
one of the doctors.
Like watching the
pin sticking, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I'm going to put him on this spinning thing and then stab him with a needle.
He's going to be good.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Also.
Yeah.
We've previously seen John Landis in Death Race 2000, 1975, and then RoboCop.
Did we ever get around to his?
Maybe it was RoboCop. We did a cameo.
We get around to his. What the hell's it called? The one where people died in a helicopter while they made it?
The Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Jeez, Scott, couldn't think of the name. Did we ever see that, or did we avoid that?
Twilight Zone. You want to see something really scary?
I feel like we watched it.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either. That feels like one maybe we want to visit. You know, did we not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't. Weird.
Didn't.
That is
By
really
the way,
weird.
story point. Just
Go.
a story point.
Go.
If all it really takes is, turning off our sensories to become a superhero,
right?
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You like
just
that?
it's just a snip on one of your spinal cord things.
Yeah.
Apparently, right? Is all it
Yeah.
takes. And
That's all you need.
Now I'm Darkman.
Yeah. You're Darkman now, Brian.
Why wouldn't you have that done on the regular? I guess probably. Well, because it'll make you
drive me
more
crazy.
prone to emotional outbursts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the plushie elephant.
Yeah, he was.
That's a trope, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Let's
Describe
play
the
the
trope.
let's play the trope alert. Hold on, I like
poke.
that.
Just described a trope called "blessed with suck."
Oh, that's what suck.
Yeah,
Interesting.
this is the big trade-off, right? Where you're given something that's really
like the
interesting,
Midas touch.
powerful, but then it comes along with a huge downside.
Right.
In this
right.
case, high emotion, right?
Right.
There's a bunch of this trope all
Give me
over
give me
the
examples
place.
so I can compare it to something because it's not.
Midas touch, right? You got gold. You can turn anything to gold, but you can't touch your family.
Oh, is
A
that the-
rogue.
that's the idea?
She's got powers, but she
I-
can't touch anybody. Right?
The first thing that came to mind was down Periscope. Never mind.
It always is.
Yeah, there's a
Those
guy.
won't know.
There's a guy who has incredible hearing, super hearing. But the problem is that everything that's loud hurts him. The butterfly effect is a great example of blessed with suck.
Oh, sure.
The protagonist, he gets the ability to go back in time and fix things, but it comes with this terrible side effect.
Yeah, there's a lot of this in comics in general, right? Like there are comic books where
that's the whole rub, right?
Yeah, you may have this super thing, but it hurts like hell when you have to use it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Wolverine and I can bring out claws in my hands, but it hurts like a mother.
Yeah.
Just imagine how much it would suck to actually be force sensitive in the Star Wars universe.
Oh man.
Like, what a blessing! You're force sensitive. Good job. Oh
but
my
anytime
god!
a planet dies, you're like, oh, hold on a second, let me sit
man.
down.
Yeah. I gotta sit
Yeah,
down.
I just gotta.
I didn't get a chance to analyze it, but the when he like rages out when he hulks,
Yeah.
there's like these scenes where there's like all this, these scenes of like there's synapses firing, and there's like I think there's like a meteorite or something flying through in some scenes. And I was trying to catch all the imagery going on there. By the way,
Sure.
trying not to laugh, but when you got skeletons flying up while he's screaming and stuff, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
The flaming backgrounds and the zoom, like the super Raimi zooms and
Yeah.
It's almost like Multiverse of Madness is where he got to finally do that for real.
Oh,
Like really got
you're
to have a
not
good
wrong.
time with it.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just like a lot of really bad overlay.
I was curious. Was it? Is that stuff they filmed? Was that found? Did they do that in the editing part? Was it like a bunch of stock footage or something? It's like we need to represent. We can't just have Liam Neeson screaming. We got to represent it with some, some clips and
And
stuff.
why he's
Yeah, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if some of it was like old Evil Dead footage or something like that, just because he likes to pull back
or
from
old Universal monster films. I didn't get a chance to dissect it, but I wanted to. It's
What's
kind of
this-
like a little mini art film in the middle of your film.
Yeah, I mean to do that, was this a Universal production? They'd have to have rights, so I don't know if they.
Yeah,
could,
yeah,
but-
that was the
Was
whole
it?
idea.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
watch the beginning?
Yeah.
This movie spends 2 minutes telling you it's a Universal film.
Oh,
Yeah, that was their
Over and
anniversary. That was
over.
their anniversary, right? Their 50th anniversary or something.
Oh,
Or
I guess I
something like
missed it.
that, or 65th. I can't remember. Something like that.
I don't know how
It
I
was
like
missed
the
that.
oldest-
slowest opening.
After
After
the 5th title card that said Universal, my kid turned to me and said, "I wonder if this is a Universal movie."
Oh, so he got the snark from his dad. I got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows what's up. No, that's great. Yeah, I must
speaking
have
of which,
I must have just slept
Son
through
of
that
Randy
shit. Didn't even notice it.
in Universal
Speaking
form.
of which, what did Will think of this?
So good and bad. Like the whole wackiness of it, right? Like where
Yeah.
every shot is a little too close to the character, and then they yank another character into the shot. Like that's really cool. But it's
Mhm.
also one of those things where you can get really tired of it, you know?
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And
Sure.
I could just kind of I kind of grasped that he was sometimes really entertained, and then sometimes like, okay, we get
It's
it.
like,
Gee,
all right,
this is
Dad, what is
It
that?
was
so
different.
wacky.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's different storytelling, right? We consumed movies maybe at a slower rate at that time, where things, we allowed things to linger more.
Did we? I don't know. I feel
I
like
think we did.
maybe
a
we
little
did.
longer.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. We're not nearly as distracted back then. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a really good question because I wonder if like certain generation today, maybe Will's that generation, but do they expect things a little more frenetic because everything has to hold their attention? They grew
I
up
don't
with the
know.
internet.
I
and that
make
kind of
him
thing.
watch really long and slow things too.
I
Right?
like you just sit on him. You're watching it, son.
Exactly.
Yeah, watch this, boy.
We're watching the 1930s Frankenstein. Get ready to be bored.
Actually, give me an example. Like, what's something you've done with that?
Horizon: An American Saga, Chapter 1.
Oh my, chapter
Oh,
one.
you guys
wow.
It's
watched
gonna
it.
be long.
I've been wanting to see it. Did you like it?
Oh, I love it, but it's like all the things that we're talking about, like things that move slow and give you time to think,
Good.
and you got to
Right.
you can like really ponder what was just said or what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like that is a kind of storytelling that's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm excited though because I don't know, whatever. I just am a sucker for everything he makes, so I'm all in
Yeah.
on that thing.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting. So yeah, like I think this is a movie that is made at a time when this might have seen. Maybe that's what it was in this viewing. Is I didn't feel like I was watching as crazy a thing as I'm used to, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought it was crazier, and there are things in it that are like, whoa, that was pretty crazy. But for the most part, I'm just like, this isn't that crazy.
It did feel a lot crazier back when it came out. It
Yeah.
was, but yeah, you're right. I think maybe it seems a little less insano now.
I think that's
Trying to
it.
think what we got there. Was it because we let Sam Raimi make other movies?
No, I think it's. I
Until
think
so it became normal.
I just think the era we live in now and the way the internet works, I just think you have to really go far to shock people now. I just don't think
Right.
it's easy anymore to. And I don't necessarily mean just basic shock value, boring stuff. I mean like, if you really want to impress me with something strange,
So right,
you got to
so
do more.
You're okay with watching a building blow up and thinking, oh, that was building blow up, cool, and then Liam Neeson's character comes flying up. That's normal.
That's pretty normal for
Normal.
nor- normal for normal for Darkman, I suppose. I mean, I immediately gifted it.
Yeah.
And
Gift it?
put
Yeah.
it online and said, "This is what I do when I get the cravings box at Taco Bell."
Can we talk about Smiley for a minute? Smiley, I'm assuming maybe some kind of homage to the old school, Joker or something, run around in this purple suit. I suppose.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe.
I didn't think
And
of it. Maybe.
Right. And so since the first explosion had Liam Neeson come flying out of it, and since the revenge one was supposed to be just like it, I was like, oh, are they going to have Smiley coming flying out of the roof? Because they're already up in the helicopter, right? They already got cameras up there, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
is that going to be something they're going to present us with? No, they didn't.
Yeah,
Smiley
they
come
didn't do
flying
it.
out of there. I was a little disappointed.
That's probably expensive.
Nah!
But there is something about like when he gets blown up and thrown through the air and yells.
Yeah.
There's something visceral and cool about that.
That
It is. It
he's-
reminds me of the Die Hard 2, Bruce Willis and the blowing up out of the helicopter and then coming right to the camera. And then
Oh,
falling
right.
back down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a lot like that. Why
Yeah.
is some of that acceptable? Because it's obviously very bad effects and all that, but
Right.
somehow
I am unhurt, even though I'm in an explosion, because I projected me out of the explosion.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we shouldn't be okay with it, but somehow
Right.
that
But
works. It worked in
Because the
RoboCop.
whole movie is silly,
Yeah,
you know?
I guess
So-
so.
There's never a part where you're supposed to really take this seriously. You know?
If this was happening in the English Patient, we'd be a lot more
Yeah,
critical of it.
exactly.
I think it's actually funny because I'm kind of under the same impression. I'm like, oh, that's just Sam Raimi. He likes to do silly things. But if you listen to what people say, interviews about how he responds to people when they say that people laughed at the parts they weren't supposed to laugh at,
Mhm.
it sounds like he gets a little upset about it. And I'm like, but horror and comedy, especially through the the 80s, were almost like hand in hand a lots of times.
That's true.
You don't want to be too horrific without having like a little humor punctuation. Like the slasher films really brought a lot of that,
Yeah.
especially like
Yeah.
Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, and that stuff. So
It definitely had a lot of that in
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. It was a throwback to that of like, ooh,
Right.
that was creepy and weird, and I don't really want to see
Most-
that again. But also, it's funny and goofy, and yeah.
him running on the truck top. I mean, I was like, am I supposed to laugh at him, being pulled around on a crane?
If you ask Sam
on a
Raimi,
helicopter.
no. But if you ask
No,
yourself,
right.
then yes.
He'd look over at me and
Yeah.
sneer, me laughing at
Yeah. You'd be
Sorry,
going, meh,
Sorry.
meh.
This is 2 years after Child's Play, and as I've said before, I feel like Child's Play is this line of demarcation where we're suddenly being asked as an audience to laugh at the ridiculousness
Mm,
of
Right.
things like this,
yeah.
and I don't think you can go back. I don't think you get to put objectively ridiculous things on the screen and not laugh after Child's Play. It's just this is how we are now.
Yeah, this is it's a new reality. Everything's
Yeah, I
like
think that
Child's
was a probably a reality, and it goes back to me for all the way back to A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that Freddy does the whole stick. Everything's got to be a one-liner. He's almost a superhero in that way. It's like, here, let me do something horrific, and then I'm going to deliver a one-liner that's going to be clever, sort of.
Mhm. Sort of.
And that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It actually brings me to the question of, can you possibly connect to the main character? And it's the problem of the entire franchise. This guy is covered in bandages. You know very well that he's super ugly under there. And then at the times when he actually looks okay, it's other actors playing the role. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Randy brings up a good point. We haven't even mentioned this is a franchise. There's
It
more
is?
of these. Now,
There's
they're straight
more.
to video.
Yeah.
2 and
Yeah.
3.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't know that at all. Tell me more.
Yeah, the return of Durant is the tagline for Darkman 2, and he's and Darkman is Arnold Vosloo for 2 and 3.
What?
Yeah. Straight to
Boudreaux,
video, though,
Boudreaux,
Scott.
Boudreaux. I love that guy.
Don't freak out.
Straight to video. Did Drake come back? Did
Nobody
Yeah,
came
Larry
back
Drake.
except
Larry
for
Drake
Larry
came back for I was gonna say he did
I think.
for 2.
okay.
please stop calling him by his last name only. It is so confusing to me.
Drake.
Durant came back.
Yeah, Durant.
Durant came back. the very
Okay,
next
but that's
day.
interesting because usually I guess I don't know. Liam Neeson what was he doing? I guess he was doing like Schindler's
He's not
List.
this.
Better stuff.
better projects.
stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded like a film
it
franchise. Would have been
definitely
fun.
would've been-
And
Yeah,
actors
definitely would've been
that are on the rise themselves, they don't like to play roles where their face gets obscured. Like they just don't.
Yeah,
it's like, you could imagine like even better, more famous people being offered this, and they're like, "Wait, he's covered in bandages. I'm out." No,
Yeah.
But he can play himself for 99 minutes at a time, and
Ah.
maybe that's not having seen Darkman 2, maybe he figures out a way to extend that, I don't know, 105 minutes or
Right.
112 minutes.
It sounds like
I did
yeah.
like that it only takes a couple of touches of the face to make you feel anxious about the face melting. I think they did a
Sure,
really good
sure.
job here with that part. It was like, oh, the pacing just seems really good.
very
with that.
very good at reminding you that it's not the person you're seeing, that it is
Right.
that it is Peyton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any minute now, his face is going to just start.
Yeah.
And I understand why he was so worried about it. I thought it was going. I thought for a minute, I'm like,
especially when it starts pulsing and
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean, you could spend all night with Francis McDormand if he wanted to, because all I guess do is do it at night. It doesn't melt in the dark. Just hang out in the dark.
That's true. Yeah, right.
Just to-
Well, then
Got,
how much reconstruction does he have to do all over?
Are you saying there's some burned peen? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, dude, yeah, dude's got no
Crispy,
peen.
crispy
that's why,
bean is what
that's
we're
why he
going
walked
Go
away
peen.
from Frances McDormand. Any red-blooded heterosexual man could walk away from Frances McDormand. Must have had something going on down there. Hey Scott, were you particularly grossed out by the fact that he didn't have lips?
Yeah. In fact, the thing I wrote down is my gross thing. This may surprise people. I don't know.
Gross.
But I think it's the incredibly well done makeup.
Yeah.
I think his face
Yeah,
stuff is
so
freaking
good.
disgusting to look at, and it's a credit to their VFX people. It looked really, really good.
And it's a thing where you see it and you completely suspend disbelief that he can still enunciate as well as he can. Because, if you ever pull your lips back and try and talk without any lips,
Yeah, yeah.
you
had
look
he had false
Jim
teeth in.
Carrey on In Living Color, that fireman.
Oh, Fireman Bill, dude. Yeah,
Fireman
Yeah.
Bill.
that's a good
But that's
call.
his thing. And it like dries his top teeth with his finger and then like pulls his lip up and
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great.
it was
But
really
just really can't even say Julie.
no,
Right.
Yeah.
no. It was really impressive.
Ooh-lee.
Every time they showed it, I was like, man, this was 90. Like that's really good makeup.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
really quality stuff, which really surprised me. I was gonna say too that the I forgot
Bad
what
guy?
it was.
Tony Strack.
Oh, the hands
call him?
burning when he held the side of the
Oh.
electrodes and his hands burned. That was pretty
Yeah.
gross.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty.
Oh,
gross.
That was
yeah.
really
Little
cool.
Stop
That was
motion.
like-
Yeah.
It looked like stop motion animation, right? Sizzling his hands, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why would you have a vat of goo with two
With two.
exposed
Yeah.
negative and positive charged
just to kill you
rods?
later, just
Yeah.
for
Right.
good
Gonna
killing.
kill you later.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how to create realistic skin, Brian? Maybe
can't,
it requires exactly that.
But I do know that Strack Industries was really bothering me because I really wanted that guy to be named Tony Strack, but
Tony Stark.
Oh,
He was
Tony
not.
Strack.
Yeah, it
was
was a little
not.
close.
Do you think
I
it
was
was on purpose? You think they were goofing around there?
no, probably not. I doubt
Okay.
it.
I was also
Yeah.
super bored by Colin Friel's portrayal of the evil developer. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, he just didn't have something special about him. He's like a non-entity.
The actor or the character, because the character got really weird and interesting at the end, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
At the
they've turned him
very
into
end when he's
Yeah.
taunting Peyton. Yes, but like up until that point, I'm just like, I don't care about this guy. Throw him off
He's-
the building. Who
yeah.
cares?
He's kind of like the henchman. If you look at the first Die Hard, when Rickman pulls in all those great, unique looking henchmen, and they're all cool. But then you got the kind of nondescript guy who sits behind the desk at the lobby.
Yeah.
He's kind of that level of. Okay, he's kind of just the boring guy that can do one specific thing that we need him to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I kept thinking if I liked it or not because he's kind of the guy that's pulling the strings, but he's front and center, and
Right.
typically is the man
He's
behind
really-
the curtain. But he's right in front and center, and you're like, oh well, what's so tough about him? Larry Drake is the real scary guy. The henchman is the scary
Right,
guy.
but you couldn't
Right.
have had Larry Drake be a love interest for Frances McDormand.
Right,
So,
right.
Like you have to. It
yeah.
has to be reasonable that that's
There
going
was a
on.
man that comforted me in those
Yeah, I
2
love
weeks
that.
that we didn't find you.
Yeah.
He's like, I know, I watched, I raged.
I saw you dancing with him.
yeah.
He did a pretty
Right.
good job covering that accent, though. He's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah,
pretty.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even
Good.
make him do
Yeah.
it now. Now these days they're just like, whatever, Liam, do what you want.
But
Right.
they made it convincing that he could actually fight Liam Neeson's character at the end by the fact that he put him at a disadvantage being on this skyscraper, and he grew up with skyscrapers and he can shoot rivet
Right.
guns.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Need
and
to
rivet
be-
gun that never hits. Like you can,
Right.
you could fire a
Aren't those
100
supposed to be
times.
hot? You're not supposed to
Ah.
shoot cold rivet. I don't know.
I don't
know how those
don't know.
work.
Yeah, that was freaking weird.
I have
Yeah.
no idea how those work. Is that true?
I
Are
kinda
they
liked it,
warm?
though.
The electric ones.
It certainly would make sense.
Yeah.
Right? That
The electric
Sure.
ones. I bet the electric ones are. They gotta be right.
I don't
that
know.
was
That guy had a lot. He was not reloading.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
was
was
that a 6-shooter? What is that? That's too
super
many.
machine gun riveter. That was my
Halfway across
second.
a rivet gun with a magazine.
Yeah.
That was my second worst thing in the movie, or second least realistic, or whatever thing in the movie. But the first is definitely the double mask gambit.
Yeah.
The double mask gambit is
Oh,
so
yes.
stupid. You
Yes.
could never
Mission
pull that
Impossible.
off.
I mean,
Literally.
your face would be so fat. I mean, it'd be like,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. I mean, you ever put 2 shirts shirts on, you don't look right.
No,
you put
I've
two
done
faces
that.
on, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
I'm wearing 2 shirts right now, and it does not look right.
No,
It
Yeah,
looks
no.
wrong.
yeah, you
Come
can tell
on.
you're wearing 2 shirts.
Yeah.
Look
You
at
already got a
Yeah,
shirt,
those
and then you
are
put 2
shirts.
more on top of that. That's 3 shirts. That's too many
It's like
shirts.
it's like a shirt on a shirt. You next are going to wear a silly hat that makes you look like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
I did find some trivia I hope is not true. It says Bill Paxton, we talked about this before, but he was almost cast as Payson Westlake. But according to Paxton, he told his very close friend Liam Neeson about the audition. When Neeson got the role, Paxton was so angry he didn't speak to Neeson for months. I don't know. I hope not.
Scrutiny.
Yeah, let's have a little
Scrutiny.
scrutiny there. At least I hope it's fake.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking to you, or I'm going on a European vacation. We'll see.
I need my famous actors to all get along.
Yeah, I want him. I want Bill Paxton
At least
to. 'cause-
those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be nice guys, and I don't know. Bill Paxton's not here, so he can't even talk about it.
Right.
That guy shouldn't have died.
Mm.
He should
Yeah.
live.
That guy should have died. He should have lived forever.
He should have lived
He should have
forever.
lived-
Yeah.
He should live for another 40 years at least. Freaking
How would that make him 110?
no, he died at 50. What was it? When did he have the heart attack? It's like 53 or something.
55 or yeah, it's close to our ages.
Yeah, real
Yeah,
close.
95. He should have made it 95.
He should have.
There you go. That's good.
There, all right. I would take
I'll see.
that.
I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah. I just think we have more in that guy, right? Edge of Tomorrow,
man.
his role in Edge of Tomorrow was so freaking great, and I'm like, man, his movie roles are back. Let's go. And then it was like not long after that he passed. It sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm glad they patched it up before Paxton left this mortal coil. before he yelled, "Game over, man! Game over!" one last
man.
time.
I forgive you, Liam. I forgive you,
I
Liam.
forgive you. We're best buddies, right? Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why I talk like this. Anyway,
That scene, one scene that we were talking about earlier that I wanted to revisit, and it's that sideshow Barker guy when they were talking about, come see the freak, the whole freak show
yeah, right.
thing and stuff.
Yeah.
When he's like poking him, there is something emotional in seeing somebody get poked in a
Yeah.
movie that it just really hits with me. And
Yeah.
getting that guy's fingers broken, I was like, yeah,
Oh,
take that,
jeez.
Frank Noon, sideshow Barker.
some good side
Just
or some good sound work on that, which
Yeah.
I can share with you.
Even though the fingers look ridiculous because they look like a little, like somebody just had a little rubber hand.
Yeah,
glove
it
or
was-
Yeah.
something.
I mean, it did look, yeah.
It was more
But he-
like theater of the mind. That some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just had to kind of say, okay, that maybe not what my finger would do if somebody bent it backwards, but that's what his would
Yeah.
do.
The other thing
But
that hit
Frank-
me is this
Frank
movie.
Noon-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I was really getting there because I want to talk about Frank Noon for a second. He was he worked on I think he worked on some stuff with video games too. Red Dead Redemption, I believe. Frank
voice work?
Noon.
Really?
He's also a really cool looking dude. If you've seen his IMDb database, he's sitting there with an acoustic guitar, looking all grizzly and stuff.
Is it just
Wins
noon
this
like
week.
Noon? Yeah.
Yeah,
there it
yeah,
is.
like the middle of the day. Yep.
He
Frank
played with
Noon.
Def Leppard. Is this the same
Yeah.
guy?
Wow.
He was in Roadhouse. He was a barfly. I would love to be a barfly in that movie. That would have been.
Wait, what did he do? He was the drummer.
He
He's
was
not the one
deputy
arm-
marshal.
Yeah.
He was the Eli voice. He was deputy marshal too. He was a voice.
Oh,
in there.
okay. But it says here he played
Mhm.
drums for. I thought they had the one arm drummer for
They do.
Def
Yeah.
Leppard. Maybe
Yeah,
this
he gets
guy-
tired sometimes and have to bring in Frank Noon. I don't know.
Maybe he got it. Maybe he just stepped in for a bit while that was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like his IMDb photo series, though. It's almost like somebody went really, spent a lot of time making sure his eyes were always in the same place for every photo, so
Yeah.
that as you flick through them, it's like,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this
I love
guy. I've seen him in things.
Like-
He
Just
looks much
basically-
better in his Western outfit than he does.
He totally
in a suit and a tie.
does. Yeah, he totally does. Exactly. This is clearly
That's
his
chameleon.
his headshot role, his headshot
Yeah,
collection.
just
for
sizzle
his,
reel.
Yes.
Man, he's in everything. He was in Parks and Rec as businessman, one episode.
Yeah.
He was in the Kaminsky Method as the butcher, one episode. Tons of one episodes. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, admire the career.
We see you,
admire
Frank
the man.
Noon. We see you.
Yeah, we know who you are. We know what's
We
up.
appreciate you.
Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to say about the film before we move on to clips?
Just love Dunaway, dressing in his intro, the fact that this is all because of Francis McDormand's character. Everything that happens bad to Darkman is
Well, she
because
can't
of him.
she can't stop finding that damn memo either. Even
Yeah.
when she goes back later on, it's like, oh, I see it again.
Oh, it's so frustrating. The stupid memo.
Yeah, the memo
Don
sucked.
Belisarius memorandum.
Yeah. I heard that name too. I was like, oh my gosh, why is that name? And every time they said it, I'm like, shut up. I hear Ibbott saying it. Shut up.
Is this the quantum leap? Is this the memorandum about quantum leap?
Yeah, is that what's going on here? But yeah, like that memorandum thing was like a, what do you call it?
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, maybe Chekhov's gun.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. It just never really went anywhere. Like, what happened with it?
Yeah.
And they kind of tried to explain why it was important or it was a big deal, but I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Other thing this movie did was basically recreate the plot of RoboCop. It's really RoboCop. Like, I don't mean he's a cop, but his origin story, getting ripped to bits, ruined beyond recognition.
Detroit. The villain is a real estate developer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come back.
He's trying to reconcile both sides of his personality, the angry side and the, and then RoboCop's case, the robot side and the human side.
Yeah, it's really just that again. I mean, he even spends time in a bed getting worked on and, has to decide if he's going to keep being the guy at the end. In fact, he even has a little monologue at the end where he says, "I'm Darkman" 4 times.
Yeah.
When he's running back, when he's running back to his warehouse after, and he's running with the pink elephant.
Oh, with the pink elephant, right? For the carnival.
Liam is blubbering. I really didn't want to laugh.
Oh, I laughed.
I was really laughing that he was running back to his little hole.
This plushy elephant. Yeah.
I laughed very hard at that scene. I thought that was very funny. Yeah, I don't know like how much of that. If you asked Sam Raimi, we were supposed to be laughing at. I'm guessing less than he'd like. But
I do have a general question for just you guys. Did you guys grow up? I know Sam Raimi. Well, I guess was born in 1960 or something. Did you ever grow up? No, absolutely not. Sam Raimi grew up in his 60s, and so his exposure to the Universal monsters was kind of similar to mine, which you see a lot on just cable TV or whatever, and watching all the 1930s Frankenstein, Dracula, all those things. Did you guys watch all the Universal monster movies?
If they were on, if they were on, yes. Like I'd have to, they'd have to sort of be on for me to watch them.
They were frequently on the syndicated. You'd see them in syndication on the outlier channels, and that's those are the ones that I'd see.
Yeah,
right.
I grew up with 3 English channels and 1 Spanish channel. Right.
Okay.
So like the 3 English channels were VHF, VHF, and UHF, and the UHF one was the NBC.
There you go.
And then the Spanish language channel. The Spanish language channel, because it was being broadcast from Matamoros, it could show anything at any time. There were no rules for the Spanish language channel. Really? Wow. So I put that on when I would get home after school in elementary school, because at like 3:30 there would be old black and white monster stuff, Japanese stuff,
Sure. Yeah, I don't.
Interesting. So
yeah, go ahead.
So that's interesting because I'm curious now if you actually saw the Spanish version of Dracula, because during the 30s it was not uncommon for studios to, instead of like doing dubs, that wasn't a thing then. If you wanted to distribute in 2 different markets, you may have different actors playing the same story roles in filming at 2 different times of the day. So they made Universal made a Dracula film that we all saw here in the U.S. And then there was a Spanish version, and they shot like at opposite times.
Really?
And and then it got distributed. So that's interesting. I wonder if Randy saw the Spanish version.
I really don't remember many details.
Right.
Sorry, tried to hit the button. It was too slow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Whew. Sorry about that.
But yeah, that's interesting. I would like to see that. I don't know how in the world I convinced myself to watch black and white TV, because when I was growing up, everything was black and white, but it was way too late for black and white because we just didn't have a color TV, even though everybody else had a color TV. But we had a lot of cable. We had cable and black and white.
We also got ours late too, and I don't know what the deal was. I think it was because my dad was so cheap, but it took us forever to get a color TV. And we were so happy the day we got it. I swear we spent.
It's all Gilligan's Island in black and white. Was at my house.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing, right? There was a time. This is funny you bring that up. There was a time where I just assumed that all of the Beverly Hillbillies was in black and white. Yeah. And then I would see it on a color TV, and it was in color. I'm like, how is this even possible? Well, it turns out there
What
is
this black magic?
the first season or two were black and white, and then they did go to color. So I was partially correct, but I always felt like such an idiot. I'm like, Dad, you're so cheap. You almost ruined my memory of everything.
You almost ruined me.
He was so cheap. Oh my gosh, about that stuff. He's like, we don't need it. Look, until a movie or a TV show really needs the color, we're not getting color. That was the attitude around our house.
Do you think we could ever now? Do you guys think we ever could watch the old Universal movies black and white here? I mean, would it be like a watch along we could do or something?
We could
Or-
watch them in general.
I'd love to see the original Nosferatu before the remake comes out, because I think that would be great for Film Sack.
We could do that except for the audio.
That's silent,
because
right?
there's no audio.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
silent.
right. Maybe it's a watch along then or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
But
Right.
but all the Universal stuff like Frankenstein and all that, I think those would be great on here.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
For sure.
Fill up our
Young Frankenstein,
hold
even
up.
though it's a later nod to all that stuff.
So we're talking about
Frankenstein,
the 1931 Frankenstein.
Yeah,
That's what
correct.
you're talking about.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
30s is when the good stuff happened.
1931. It's on Peacock
Peacock.
right now.
Peacock! Yeah, that makes sense because it's NBC Universal. That absolutely makes sense. Yep.
They don't have free cock anymore. I don't think.
What?
Yeah, I think they got
What are
rid
you
of
talking
it.
about?
Well, they have ad supported like commercial TV stuff, but I don't think you can watch like Peacock content even with ads now without some sort of payment. I think
Interesting.
so. I could be wrong on that, but whatever. Free cock is Peacock, and Peacock is free cock. So enjoy.
Peacock.
All right, it is time for some clips. We're gonna do those now, and I'm gonna start with
Clip
this
me.
one. Let's see, where is it here? Let's start with this one. The first words of the movie.
Because he's an asshole. Tell him no.
Yeah, tell him no, he's an asshole. I just love that
yeah.
asshole's your very first word of your freaking movie. That's great.
Yeah, but you didn't play it all the way through. Tell him. Yeah, tell him he's asshole. Tell him he's asshole too, and tell him F you.
Yeah, he got even dirtier there, but I didn't want him, I didn't want him.
Anybody recognize that actor?
No,
No.
did not.
Yeah, so
so-
that is Jesse Lawrence Ferguson, who was our self-hating cop in Boys in the Hood.
Oh.
I didn't realize that. I knew he seemed familiar. Okay.
It's the Samuel L. Jackson in Django kind of character. That's what that
Yeah.
is. Yeah, that's
He was
awesome.
also in Buckaroo Banzai. We watched that here.
Oh,
too, right?
really? Wow.
Interesting.
Apparently, we are not paying enough attention to that guy's career.
And I think I said when we watched him on Boys in the Hood, I think I said that. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting it.
yeah. You are.
Jesus.
You sack of shit. Just kidding. I don't know
Whatever,
why I said
Cop
that.
Rock.
And then so I'm sorry, but I think Jesse Lawrence Ferguson is who played Lutan in the third episode of The Next Generation.
Oh, right.
Oh, really? The no Lieutenant
No,
Yard guy.
Lieutenant Yard. That's the guy.
What?
We've talked about this.
These guys
Now I
are
remember.
rare.
In fact, it may have been
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood where we talked about it.
I think it was. We talked about during Boys in the Hood, I think.
Yeah. That guy's he's famous in our circles. We love him.
Yeah.
He really
So
is. Legend.
So
Totally.
I'm going to skip him when we get to connections.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Got us. Let's see. Got a surprise for these guys.
We got a surprise for these gentlemen.
Or gentlemen, I guess.
Mhm.
No, no, Lieutenant Yard. All right. How about this? Oh, I like this.
Especially a bunch of dinks.
Especially a bunch of dinks.
A bunch of dinks.
I couldn't. I was like, oh no.
Double income,
Is-
no kids.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was
Or maybe
like,
Spaceballs? Maybe he's,
I don't know.
I didn't want to look it up. I didn't want to find out I've been using a racist or derogatory term to people. I was like, oh, what does dink mean? I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Dictionary.com.
Well, wasn't
Oh, Jesus.
Dirk? No, wait. What's the one that's a whale? There's something that's a whale penis or something. Dork. That's what dork is.
Dork.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Let's say you're a whale scientist, right? You're sitting around, you're going, all right, you guys, we got some whales research we're doing here. We got some blubber I'm testing today. And Bill, make sure you work on that dork over there. Like that's what they'd say to each other.
Yeah.
That's right.
Really weird.
I want to play with a dork.
Here's something about pine. Oh no, this is who wants pineapple on their pizza?
Nobody!
That's right, damn it.
Jeez.
Nobody wants that.
I do.
What happened to those poor people down in the Java shop, you think? What do you think happened to those?
Oh, it was at night. They were hopefully not. Their beans just got extra roasted.
Yeah, so
We're
then,
only serving dark roast today.
then
Dark roast.
they became a Starbucks because that's all. Everything's burnt.
Yeah, that's all they serve. Yeah.
Let's try this one. Great Darkman death scream. Let's check this out. This is a scream in the movie. It's great. One of the henchmen dying. Let's see. Here's another one. I don't know what this is.
Take him down!
Oh, take him down. Take him down. Hey, my Christmas tree's up in February.
Take him down!
All right. Finger.
Wow, we're not even out of the first 2 minutes of the film.
It's a lot of good audio in there. I'm
Right,
just gonna say.
Yeah.
How about this? Here's the finger cut sound and him going ugh. This is no Lieutenant Yargag getting his finger cut.
Are they using special cigar cutters in these movies? Can those cut through bone?
I mean,
If you're strong enough.
Improbable.
yeah, because it's not the
sharp enough,
yeah, it's not the device so much. It's the strength at which you can push it. I think. So
Okay.
Larry Drake hands, I guess. I don't know how you do it.
Larry Drake hands.
There's nothing automatic about it though. There's no like what's the word I'm looking for? You know, where certain kind of cutters, because the way they're made, you can squeeze with less power. It's like a lever, right? A lever lifts a boulder better than your hands can because of leverage. I don't think those things have any kind of like special leverage to cut thicker than bone.
Yeah.
So it's. I
So
think
I guess the question is, can you squeeze hard enough to cut through a bone?
yeah,
I
that's
suppose?
basically it. Yeah,
It's your own strength. Yeah, right.
Maybe if you get right in the joint.
He uses clearly Durant uses those hand strengtheners that look like little like the letter A with a curly spring on the top.
I have one of those somewhere. So
I was a little disappointed that I could see that he just had his finger that he's supposed to cut off. It's tucked. They didn't bother
Right?
it
Yeah,
any.
they just like pulled it back. Yeah.
Yeah, I
that
didn't
was
like
lame.
that. I was like,
Yeah. What you're disappointed they didn't really actually cut off his finger?
well, either that or pretend, put some prosthetic on there or something, convince me.
Well, what's the rating on this
You
film?
got to take away stuff. Like you can't put
Right.
a prosthetic on there.
Well, yeah, you can be. Well, that's like saying you can't show
I see what you're
teeth
saying.
and muscle. Yeah.
So like okay, so show he
Show a
can
stubby.
still tuck, but give us a stubby to help cover
Yeah.
up the tuck.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And this was, let's see, this was rated R, so they could have. I don't know why they didn't.
I didn't
Oh,
understand
what
why it
the
was
fuck?
rated R. Is it the violence?
It's the swears and the violence, I think. And there weren't even that many. I don't even know if there was an F bomb. Was there? Might not have been.
I think it's just one from our
was-
hero at the beginning.
Yeah, there was definitely one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can never remember. But yeah, it didn't feel like this is so funny because Taken, we were just talking about how that felt like a rated R movie and wasn't.
Yeah.
And this
here we
feels
are
like
again.
this feels like a PG-13 movie and isn't. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shows.
I just don't know what to do with Liam Neeson.
I don't know what to do with my Neesons.
Uh,
I'm gonna buy a new car, Nissan EV. Let's
Some
see.
rogue.
We need some input.
System ready to receive input.
Yeah.
Input. Did they list the
There's
voice
something-
actors for that?
No,
don't
I
think they did.
looked.
Go ahead.
Couldn't find
There's
it.
a little bit of a No Man's Sky voice for whatever reason. That's what it reminds me of, like the oxygen levels depleting.
System ready to receive input.
She's just so stoked about it.
I'm
Input.
in the bathroom recording my lines.
If you ever had any questions whether Liam Neeson can say the word "why," rest softly tonight in your bed. All right, because here he is.
Why?
It's a lot of whys.
Why?
And now,
Oh, Z, that's right.
I can remember the next letter. That's great. All right, when Samsung had those exploding phones.
Why can't we make these cells stable?
Well, I don't know, man.
Clever.
Very clever. All right, here's a thug sound. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got choked or something. I don't remember. Liam Neeson growling. Jeez, dude.
That is a Sam Raimi directed
Yeah.
Moment.
noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Sam Raimi saying no, do it like this. Gotta be, right?
Yeah. Waking. Early Dead. What's it called? Evil Dead. Had all kinds of those noises. You're totally right. Bing. Oh, it's the bingo guy from the beginning. Bingo.
Bingo. What's his name?
His name was Bingo. All right. I don't get this, and I still don't. So you guys can help me. Here we go.
Personally, I give him a 9 on the buzzard scale.
The buzzard scale?
He's not gonna make it. The buzzard's gonna pick him clean.
Yeah,
That's
the
what they
buzzard.
mean?
Oh.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
dead.
get it either. Now that just it
It's
totally makes sense.
stupid. I get it now,
Do
but
buzzards have a scale? Like, do they say, nope,
not
gonna
ready.
eat- Yeah, not ready.
Stick that back in the microwave for a few more minutes.
Not cooked enough.
not cooked enough. Get your fingers on the buzzards. All right. They took his hands.
They took my hand.
that was straight up Universal. Good guy becoming a monster stuff.
Right,
Loved it.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? There's more in this movie of that than I gave it credit for. You're right. There's a lot of that monster movie nod. Present. I don't know. This is something about money.
So good of you to favor me with your venerated presence.
The money.
The money. Give me the money.
Hung Fat, man. I love that character.
Hung Fat's awesome, right?
Yeah.
All right. Was there someone else? No. Yes. What's this? Okay.
Was there someone else?
No. Yes.
I love the music is the best part of that. Guy cheated. That was man.
Yep. Like, hey, what's the most unhinged carnival music we can put in this movie?
Yeah.
Right.
And then finally, what do we call him?
I'm everyone and no one. Everywhere. Nowhere. Call me Darkman.
Okay.
That don't make no sense.
He said the name of the movie.
Yeah, he did. Oh, wait.
How does a 90-minute movie feel so long in that moment? Gosh.
And how was the movie? And how was the movie not 99 minutes long? I didn't understand.
Oh, yeah. It should have done that.
Say my name.
That's when they say the name of the movie. I always forget to play it. All right. Well done. Now time for the checklist. The Film Sack checklist goes like this. Great makeup that was hard to stare at. Check. That guy from LA Law sure hits different. Check.
Yes.
And fun seeing old Marjorie in this one here. Check.
Old Marge.
Yeah.
Got a little Arby's on you, Marge.
A little bit of Arby's. Let's get to this Star Trek Connections. I guess we're keeping out Mr. No Lieutenant Yar, but what else you got, Randy?
Oh, a bunch. Like too many to list. So let me give you a few. Cliff Fleming was the police helicopter pilot in this, and was also a major effort on stunts on Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, and then Star Trek the 2009. See, again, I'm so tired of that name.
I know.
But this guy was like all over like helicopters in Star Trek movies, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Aaron Lustig played Martin Katz in this movie and was also in an episode of Voyager and an episode of Enterprise. Nicholas Worth played Paulie. He was in an episode. Yeah, he was in an episode of Deep Space Nine and an episode of Voyager. And then blink and you miss him. Neil McDonough is in this movie.
Oh, really?
He's one of the dock workers. But
really,
I spotted Neil McDonough. He's hard to miss. He was very young. He was a child in this movie. And of course, he's our Lieutenant Hawk in Star Trek First Contact.
Let me do a quick search for a scene. I want to see this.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that him in the background?
No.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm just trying to see if I can pick him out here. Wow, that's hard to do.
There's a lot of doc dudes in there, I'm telling you.
And he got a credit for it.
No, I know he's in there. I just kind of having a hard time finding it. Oh, there he is in the rear at the beginning. He's one of the henchmen in the rear there. Doc works
in the rear.
With the gear.
We're in the rear with the gear.
That's our Lieutenant Hawk, and dude needs more story in Star Trek. Like, he just appears in First Contact and that's it. Man, I want more of that.
He looked great in that Starfleet uniform. You know?
Oh yeah,
one of the best. All right. Well, he also used the puke stick in Brian Dunaway's favorite movie.
My favorite.
Yeah, he had he was the puke sticker. All right, and I think it got used on him, so he ended up puking. I think that's what happened. Anyway, the rain. What does it mean? All right, moving on. Let's get to the soundtrack grade. I give it a VM for very much what you think it might sound like. It's Danny Elfman as hell. So
too much for me. There were so many scenes where I was like, "Can you turn the music down so I can enjoy what I'm seeing?"
It was definitely overwhelming. There were parts. It was like, "Whoa, okay, calm down." But that feels like Batman. Batman had a lot of overwhelming music in it. You know, so
I think we were having a moment during that time, the theater especially, that loud was.
What do you think that is? You think the music just needed a heavy lift more of the essence of what a hero film?
Well, I think one of the things that was going on is we were starting to look at bringing better sound systems to the theater in general. We had THX and stuff was going on about that time as well, where it was really becoming more popular. This is really just a standard, because a lot of theaters up until, mid 80s, at least the places where I was at, was just like a couple of speakers behind the screen. And that's what you did. Then they started putting all the surround sound speakers and things in. So Dolby DTS, all that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at.
Here's my head.
All right, moving on then. Let's get to the where the hell are we? Oh, it's the social media post, guys.
Yay.
This is where, in 280 characters or less, you guys, unless you pay up for the higher tiered version of the platform,
get an upgrade.
Yeah, if you want to do pages and pages, you can do that. But since we don't pay for that here, you guys have to do it in 280. And here's who we're going to start with this week. I don't want to freak anyone out, but we're going to start this week with Randy.
One of these days, I'm just going to start doing a social media post that's an engagement question.
Do it.
Good. Like right now.
Those are all the
Were
rage.
there any good movies in 1990?
Yeah.
It's just only the whole post.
That's all we do now. I hate it.
Darkman. I saw the two of you kissing, young love, with nothing missing, except maybe wedding bells, yes? Just don't ask too soon. Make a mess. Oh, there you go, asking her hand in a way that does not look planned. She said no. Rejection. Overt. Ouch. Dude. That's gotta hurt.
That's good. That's very good. By the way, if you're a patron of the show, you get copies of this poem. You get copies of Brian Ibbott's lyrics. Man, there's so many cool reasons to be in there. Nicely
and you
done.
get my OnlyFans page. It's
That's
great.
right. Yeah, you want to see some Dunaway or some Dunaweener, he calls it? Get in there.
Yeah. I'm your only fan.
Yep, that's right. Hope you enjoy that $5 a month.
Thanks for the support.
You should do Cameo. Hey, look, it's Brian Dunaway's turn anyway. Why don't you go ahead and take your turn?
Darkman, like Spider-Man, but instead of spiders, it's the dark Bruce. # memo.
Nice. Finally, it's Brian Ibbott.
Darkman, you've got all that mafia money. Maybe you can afford clean gauze now?
Dude, no kidding.
That is one thing that bothers me in films. It's like, how often are they changing those gauze? Because you want to do that frequently.
Pretty rare, if I had to get. Well, maybe between cuts, they come and just refresh him a little bit, spritz him.
Wait,
I have no idea.
Yeah, spritz him.
Just do a little Febreze, a little Febreze in his face,
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. And now I'm going to spritz my face with this.
Can't wait for the infection to set in.
That's right. Great. Let's get to the alternate title. This was just handed in, so we're just seeing it for the first time. They almost called it Face Off, but that was taken, or would be taken.
Oh yeah, it's 7 years before Face. Can you believe?
It's a little,
7 years.
7
before
years.
About to be taken.
Yeah, about to be taken. And then the nose that melts. That's interesting. That could have been. That may have worked. Hey, let's get to a voicemail. We got a voicemail about Jeff Bridges and Taken and how he was almost in that role. We had a whole conversation about that, and I'll let the call speak for itself. This is Colin calling in once again.
Hey, Scott, Brian, and Randy. This is Colin from Seattle, or first in the chat, Colin for Film Stack, talking about Jeff Bridges and Liam Neeson and Taken. And y'all mentioned that, you can kind of see some of the gruff, tough, badass sort of person that Jeff Bridges was in the TV series that he's in nowadays. But I gotta say, we could have seen it just a year after Taken was released when Jeff Bridges starred in True Grit. You want to talk about badass old man takes care of young daughter figure substitute person? You're not going to get any more of that than True Grit.
Yeah.
I remember that immediately. Said it out loud the moment you said Jeff Bridges could have been in Taken. It's like, hell yeah, True Grit. So, anyways, think y'all should look at it. Think y'all should watch it. Yeah, Jeff Bridges. What a badass. Love the show. Cheers.
really selling the Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
Did we? I could have swore we watched. Maybe we just talked about it. We all loved.
No, I love that remake.
Totally.
Yeah.
Speaking of Coen Brothers, I think it's one of their finest works, and I think that everyone's amazing in it, and it's a good point. I wonder if they sat around filming that and like between takes, and he went, "Hey, I was almost in that Darkman deal with your friend there, dude."
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good Jeff Bridges.
Pretty good.
Bad.
Yeah, I want to see this new season of The Old Man pretty bad. So it's all.
Yeah, we should definitely go back in time and watch that for episode 235.
We could do it. Let's go back. Did we watch it? We didn't watch. No, we watched. We didn't watch True Grit, did we?
235 True Grit.
Was it the old one?
2015.
The new one?
The old one or the new one?
The new one.
The 2010 one. Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Team Gibbet over here. Don't remember that at all.
Nope.
Holy shit. All right. I love that movie. I don't know
call,
why I
though.
wouldn't remember it.
Team DRS, don't remember shit.
I don't remember
Another
shit.
Jeff Bridges movie that I want to. No one can watch it for 6 years. No one watched Hell or High Water for 6 years. Then we can sack it.
No, I've watched it 4 times. Like I'll watch it 100 times. I love that movie.
I know.
You love it too. That movie rocks.
Yeah, we got to stop.
We can sack it. We can sack it. I'll watch it
There
again.
has to be an end.
I'll watch it
for the sack.
I'll watch it again, you guys. I loved it that much. That movie rules. Oh my gosh. You guys know who's seen that and who hasn't seen that? Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I'm trying to remember. I'm looking now.
Dunaway.
Yeah, you would know.
Oh.
You would know if you'd seen it.
It's such a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I think
It's that Taylor Sheridan before things
I
really
actually
took
started
off. For
watching this and I was really enjoying it, and I put it on pause and didn't get back to it. I do remember this. I didn't see it though.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we now? Oh yeah. Let's get to the text I also got at 801-471-0462. It's also the place you can leave those voicemails. This is from Terry. He says, which one of you would win in a battle royale wrestling match? I don't know.
Well, as we all know, I couldn't even beat a baby, so it's probably not me.
I have a height advantage until I get on the ground, and then I'm toast. I would be toast.
I've got the weight advantage, but I don't know how well that plays.
I don't like this question.
Makes me feel
I
uncomfortable.
don't want to fight my friends.
I don't
Please.
either. I don't either. This
If
would never
it's
happen.
wrestling.
But if we had
Oh, they
to,
put you in a headlock.
think about it though. If
Yeah.
we had to do this wrestling, okay, like
Oh,
just
okay.
someone
So
forced
if
us to do
If
it.
it's scripted WWE,
Yeah.
Right. There we go.
Oh yeah.
think
Who's the
Scott
heel?
Thompson wins.
You think I win? Really? I don't know.
yeah, if it's scripted WWE wrestling.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then later, 6 months later, I'll become the heel again, and it'll all be bad.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, if we was really fighting, let me tell you this: old man strength is a real thing, but old man fatigue is even more real. So it doesn't take long.
Do they call you old man fatigue where you come from? Is that
Old
what's going
man
on?
fatigue is like, I got you, buddy. I'm tired. Let's
I'm
go
tired.
home.
Of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm all done.
It'd be a tie. It'd be a 4-way tie, is what it would be.
Sure.
There you go.
I like
So
it.
just I'll be like, yeah.
Well, be like Terry and be like Colin. Send us your messages.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be just like they live.
Oh,
Okay,
you'll
all
be
right.
out of gum.
Yeah.
You're all out of gum.
Yeah, that wrestling match that took place in the alley.
Oh, that
went on
amazing
forever
fight scene.
because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
wrestlers. Yeah, and
20-minute fight. Yeah.
yeah, and nobody wins.
You know what?
right?
I have
That's
actually a really. Well, I don't know if it's a good question, but I have a question. How many? What is the one movie that we have film sacked that you guys have seen the most prior to and since? And I think the
Oh,
rule
wow.
is you have to have at least seen it once since we've sacked it. And I have a movie like that, but I'm curious what
I
yours
do
is.
too.
And we probably all have Die Hard on the list, so take that one off. Because that
I don't actually. I haven't seen Die Hard since we sacked it.
Oh my gosh,
Interesting.
I watch it every
Wow.
year. All right,
Mine's
I don't know
called
if I've
Burbs.
seen Breakfast
Watched all
Club
the time.
since we sacked it. I can't think of anything that I've watched that we sacked since we sacked it.
someone asked me this somewhere, and I meant to bring it up on the show, and I guess now. I
Oh,
am.
did we
Burbs.
watch? We did. Oh no, we haven't sacked Edge of. Oh, we did sack Edge of Tomorrow. We talked about that earlier with the Paxton thing.
Yeah,
I think I might have seen that since we sacked it.
I might have seen that one too. That's a good one. Good pick.
Yeah.
Couple
For
of
me, it's
movies,
Waterworld. For me, Waterworld is always.
Oh, sure.
top.
Yeah.
We sacked that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Hell yeah.
Early on. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of movies that like I will watch every 2 years. I'm having deja vu. Did I say this on morning stream? That
It
there's, like,
came up
movies to watch every
somewhere.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yes, somewhere
You say
said
this
it, yeah.
twice a year. Go ahead.
And thank you. And like of the ones we've sacked, like there's a bunch, but like Raw Deal came to mind, and
There's a great one.
The
Good one.
Game came to mind for me. Like I
Oh, The
watched
Game's
those
great.
movies.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think you even. Yeah, we talked about the game recently. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just watched Eraser last week. Does that count? Did we ever do that one?
Did we do Eraser?
Schwarzenegger? I think we did.
No, I don't.
Yes, Film Sack 284.
We did.
Aha!
Wow.
Are you kidding? It was it the weird
Again,
guns
Steve
that
Gibbet doesn't remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember that one at all.
Oh, a better one for me is The Saint.
Oh yeah. we
Oh
did
yeah,
that.
that's true. I know
just
that
think-
about Randy
just think
myself.
that movie, I overrate it way more than anybody else.
Yeah, you absolutely do because that movie makes me go to sleep.
It's good.
Makes me get real tired.
I think it's good, Randy.
Oh, I think it probably is great, but for whatever reason, it's kryptonite for me. I don't know why. Just boring as hell for me. All right. Well, there you go then. What was I doing with that whole question? Nothing. I guess we were just asking a fun question. Let's move on to our Patreon real quick and mention some new folks. Ben McCracken. they've released the McCracken, and he's here. David McVicker, Whitney Ashbury, and RTJ, Robert Towney Jr.
Towney Jr. He's a townie.
He's a townie.
Townie. Yeah.
And they have all joined us. And that makes me really happy because I just know how awesome they're going to feel about this. They're going to get no commercials ever. I just put out a brand new art print for that level that is the alien egg with Kermit the Frog coming out of it.
That one.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites in a while,
that.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's coming to you on that level. So go check it out. If you're not on that level, you can sign up for it, even if you're in there already. Anyway, other monthly special episodes from the hosts. I got something coming from, Dunaway just put his up.
Dunaway just dropped his, yesterday or day before. Yeah. Can't wait to hear it.
Nicely done, sir.
Talked all about that food fight from released in 2012, originally supposed to be released in 2005. Didn't happen. Worst animated film in history. Tune in, find out.
Find out for yourself.
Wow.
It's got Charlie Sheen in it. What do you expect?
Yeah, Hilary Duff, Charlie Sheen. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Indeed. Anyway, that is just one of the many reasons to sign up. So go check it out today. That's patreon.com/filmsack. Our next movie will be, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm really excited about this because this is one of the sackiest movies we've sacked in the history of sacking. So next week, we're going to watch the J. Lee Thompson, Chuck Norris, Louis Gossett Jr. movie Firewalker from 1986. Chuck Norris and Louis Gossett Jr. travel the world in like seeking out ancient hoards of gold.
Yes.
And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. John Rice Davies is in this movie.
I've always wanted to see this one. I've just never had the nuts to do it. So I'm excited.
Is that a Hildebrand movie poster or
it
or
looks
that
like
guy
it,
or the guy that does them now or did them 15 years ago that looks like Hildebrand.
And this is a canon film, so
wow.
Buckle up.
I don't even this is so new to me. I don't even know what to make of it.
Yeah,
Firewalker. It's like one of the last movies that this director ever made after making so many, like, King Solomon's Mines type movies.
Oh, I just realized why it's familiar. I'm thinking Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah,
Twin Peaks movie.
Yeah. And it's just throwing me hearing that. So, all right.
No,
I'm in though. Let's do it. Chuck Norris. I haven't done him in a while. How many movies have we done with Chuck Norris?
That's what he said.
That's what she said. Do we have, Randy, you probably have that number next to you. How many Chuck Norrises have we done? How many?
I don't have that number.
Not many.
Not many. We've seen him in the Expendables 2 or something, but we have kind of never. They're not often streaming, and they're kind of super low budget and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna guess we've seen 3 or 4 Chuck Norris movies.
All right,
$2 for the VHS. Ordered.
We're about to improve that by 1. Are you really ordering? Are you going to buy that on VHS?
Ordered.
You really are. Oh my gosh!
I believe him.
In the way that God and canon intended for me to view it.
Yeah, that is. I do not believe in your God.
Drew Struzan. There we go. I was looking for.
Drew Struzan.
Yeah.
Oh, how could I not even say it? Of course, dude's from all the Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
Star Wars, exactly.
He's an all-timer.
And
that guy.
Firewalker.
He is.
And Firewalker.
Yes.
Firewalker. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, you got to pay the bills somehow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Excellent news. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks you all for listening.
Thanks you too.
Filmsack.com is our website. Patreon.com/filmsack. Once again, great place to support us. If you're looking to email us, you can do that too. Filmsack@gmail.com. Go review us wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us grow in the rankings and get to more listeners. That's going to do it for us. For me, for Brian, and for Randy.
Oh, you've got to be shitting me.
We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Especially a bunch of dinks.
Yeah.
Dinks. A bunch of dinks.
Dinks. That guy's great. Is he still
Dink.
still working? Still in movies?
Nickelodeon.
He's dead.